Hello Leo, welcome to your monthly tarot reading for June 2023. I wanted to take this time to say a very big thank you to my regular followers. Thank you so much for joining me again. Thank you so much for supporting me. This is going to be very soon a year that I've had my YouTube channel, and it feels wonderful to, one, still be here, and two, watching it slowly grow and evolve, and I hope that you've enjoyed the journey as well. To those of you that are new, thank you so much. I hope you will like what you find here, and I hope you will like the video and subscribe if you feel called to. Thank you so much. Let's get started. Okay, Leo, let's have a look at your cards. So we've got the 4-week breakdown of how the energies are likely to play out, or the actual 4-week breakdown. We've got the overall energy. So sorry, the 4-week breakdown is the 10 of Wands, the High Priestess, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Magician. We have the overall energy, which is exit and underwater realm, and we have health and contentment as additional information. Now I've got to say that's 3 times that these two cards have come out together, and I think each time they've been side by side, maybe not directly in that order, but that's very interesting. There's this High Priestess, 4 of Pentacles, that is coming out quite a bit in the readings. So Leo, exit, and the first thing I got is it's time to get out. And isn't that interesting how both cards have this kind of light portal in them? I feel straight off the bat, the messages that I'm getting for you, you're exiting the rat race, and that's enabling you to exit out of emotions that don't serve you. So that's the first lot of messages that have come through. Now I'm going to do these cards one at a time because I really feel that they need a particular attention on their own, because I also feel like one kind of leads to the other. So the reason why I'm saying that is I feel that this exit plunges you into this, which you'll need to exit again. I feel the month of June for you, Leo, will be one of healing on many different levels. So what are you exiting, Leo? That's being a general reading. That's what you need to answer. But something, I just got, you need to check out of something. So that's really interesting, because for some of you, it's the exiting is not like leaving a job or leaving a relationship or leaving a place. It might just be checking out of the drama that's attached with that, or checking out of sorry, it's hard sometimes to put feelings into words, and sometimes I have words and spirit will correct me and tell me it's not quite that. So then once that happens, generally spirit will give me words because I'm not understanding properly. But it's like you know, okay, thank you, Spirit. Okay, Spirit's saying I need to give an example, so then I've got something to go by, but you'll need to apply this how it fits in your life. So let's say this is a romantic relationship. Some of you are exiting the romantic relationship. Others of you are checking out of an aspect of this relationship that has become detrimental to you or to both parties. The checking out doesn't mean you're leaving the relationship, but there is some aspect that you will say to yourself, or Spirit is calling you to say, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm not entertaining whatever this is. So if it's a job, some of you are exiting the job. Others of you are checking out of an aspect of that job. So maybe it's office politics. I'm not being involved. I'm not succumbing to gossip. It can be I'm checking out of the workload. That's it. I'm not going to do unpaid overtime anymore. I'm going to speak to my boss, and this is what I can do in a day. You either get somebody in to help me, or I'll need to be paid. Do you know, it's that kind of energy. There is a sense that there is something in your life that doesn't work anymore. It doesn't support you. And there is a sense here, and I'm really feeling it with the 10 of Wands and the High Priestess. There's this load that you have come to realize is not your load to carry. And so there's this exiting. There is this, I'm not doing that anymore. And for some of you, it is the end. For others of you, you've just decided that I'm not doing it like this anymore. Or this will need to change, or that will need to change. It can't be, I'm sorry, I'm fumbling a bit because I'm house sitting at the moment, my friends, if you've been following me for a while. And the gorgeous cat that I'm house sitting has decided he's going to jump on the table. And if he jumps, that's above the candle is the only place he can jump from the windowsill. So I don't want him to jump. But yeah, you're checking. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to grab him, and because he's going to be very naughty. Come here. Actually, Leo, maybe he's supposed to be in your reading. I'm just going to, I hope you don't mind, but he's a very Leo kind of cat. He's very, he's got the colouring of a lion, very much a lion. Yes, you want to say hello to everybody. So his name is Linus, and he's a beautiful, beautiful boy. Okay, Linus. Okay, thank you everybody for indulging me. I'm just going to pop him on my lap. He'll probably jump down, but I just got to make sure I keep him safe with the candle around. So there's this sense that you'll be changing things. This exit is either the end of something, or you'll be implementing changes. Now, in the implementation of those changes, I do believe that there can be more exits, because she's rising up out of this underwater realm to the opening. So I'm feeling it's like another exit. It's like another change, another ending. I feel that this initial exit, or this initial making a change is going to bring you, and please don't be frightened, Leo, but it's going to kind of bring you down into this underwater realm. So it might have you second guessing yourself. It might zap a little bit of your natural Leo self-confidence. So it might give you a little bit of a knock. I feel that this is Spirit's way of saying, it's easy for me to say, don't worry about it, Leo. Of course it is. I'm on the outside looking in. When we go through this, it's not so easy. It's really not easy, but Spirit is saying it's not permanent. You're not going to sink down into like a deep depression, though you may feel down for a while. You may feel a little bit like, oh, what was the point of all that? All this time, all this energy that I dedicated to that. Now, this is also, let's go back to the analogy of the relationship. And you've decided to, okay, you know what? I'm not happy with this aspect. You know, we've become comfortable, or now when we argue, we hit below the belt. You know, we get nasty. We're no longer just arguing about what we're arguing about. Then we have digs at each other. You know, we try to hurt each other. So that will have you reassessing. And so this underwater realm is this, it's almost like this time where you're kind of treading water, and your head might go under a bit, and then you might float for a bit. And you know, when we implement changes in our life, especially when it doesn't just involve us, if this is a job and you're no longer part of office politics or whatever it is, there's this sense of suddenly people are going to be like, well, what's happening with them? They used to be, you know, on our side, or whatever it is. And so there's going to be this shift in dynamics. There's going to be this shift in what people thought of you and how they understood you. And so there's almost like, you know, water takes the shape of whatever it is in. So it's almost like, you know, you've taken a square and then you've poured it into a abstract vase, and it's kind of like sloshing around trying to find, all these other little areas it's going to sink into now. And so there's a bit of unsettledness, but the water will eventually calm, and you will exit that kind of time where everybody then is kind of, you have said what you need, and everybody's trying to find their level again in regards to that. And you will as well, Leo. You are kind of going to be like, right, this is really important to me, or this is really, and it changes an aspect of you. And I really feel with this health card, health and contentment, actually, just noticed health and contentment. I feel this is on a very physical and emotional level. This is very much for your health and for your sanity and for your happiness. This is so important. And I think this, Leo, has been coming around for a long time. A long time. We've got in the first week, we've got the 10 of Wands, and I feel that this is how the situation has been making you feel. Like it's just all work. It's just maybe you picking up the pieces, or you making all the sacrifices. And there's not, thank you, Spirit. The Spirit's saying it's not to blame. Spirit doesn't want you to blame others. It's not to point the finger. It's just to make you aware of what you have taken on board. And that's empowering, Leo, because when we realize the part that we play in a situation, we can change that. We can't change another person. We can't really change anything outside of us if it doesn't want to change. But ourselves, we can change. So when we realize, well, look, you know, I've been doing all the work. Well, maybe you said yes to the work. This is not to beat yourself up either, Leo. There's no judgment, or there's no I keep getting the word punishment, but that's probably not the right word. But it's more like there's no judgment, and there's no it's just what we do as humans. You know, we think, oh yes, I'll do more because then that'll make me look good, or that might get me promoted, and then in the end that's given you nothing but hard work. But we'll often, you know, externalize that and then blame others. We need to actually turn that back and allow that to mirror back to us to see what have we allowed to happen. And therefore we then empower ourselves. So I feel this 10 of Wands in this sort of first week of June, give or take. I feel you're going to be seeing how you've allowed something to progress, and that no longer serves you, that you just can't maintain. You know, you might have said yes to working a weekend because there was a deadline, and then suddenly now it's expected that you work weekends, and suddenly, you know, it's snowballed to that, and now you're gonna have to kind of say, look, I'm sorry. Initially, I just signed up for that weekend because we had this deadline. I'm not interested in working every weekend, or I can't give that much of myself. You know, I can't work 7 days a week. And you know, Leo, I don't want to work 7 days a week. Be honest. And in the second week, I really feel this High Priestess is bringing you a aspect of self-love that you've had before, Leo, so you will recognize it, but that you've kind of put on the back burner, or you've forgotten. This High Priestess is going to pull back the veil and show the behind the scenes of how tired, how unhappy, how resentful, how angry you are at this situation. But it's going to really reveal the emotion behind your, I can do this, I can do this, I don't want to let anybody down, you know, I can. And I feel when you really see that, it's going to make this exiting so much easier. Because I want you to look at this card. There is no hesitation. There's just galloping, going for it. That shows certainty, clarity. And sometimes when we're shown where we've gone wrong, it can feel really like, oh, I'm such an idiot, what? But no, that's how we gain clarity. That's what brings clarity to then charge forward, to then make changes, and to become unstuck. This Four of Pentacles that has been showing up in a few readings, this Four of Pentacles for the month of June, is really how we've held ourselves back. or we've held ourselves in situations that we don't want, how we have a image of how things are going to go or things are going to look, and we hold on to that even when they're showing up in our life and they're not looking like that. And that shows us that the actions that we take are not having the effect that we want. So it's not changing the effect or getting mad at it. It's looking at, okay, what actions brought me here? What mindset brought me here? What emotion brought me here? And it can be one that you might think, well, that's actually a really nice trait. Like, you might have really just wanted to help. You know, you could, if it were going back to the work analogy of working on the weekend, you know, the business might be new and just trying to grow, and you're thinking, gosh, I'm going to do as much as I can to allow it to flourish, and I just want to do my best so that it grows. But somewhere along the line, you realize in that scenario that you're losing. Now, Spirit wants you to take that thought, and sit with it, because the losing might not look like how you thought. All this, you know, working on the weekends, the pay might be brilliant. So you might think, I'm not losing anything. If you're in a relationship that's no longer working well, exiting the relationship, you're actually not losing anything. You're actually losing more if you stay in the relationship. That's where our perspective really plays a big part in our evolution, when we grow and we change and we awaken and we become clearer on ourselves and how we do things or how we see things that might not in actual fact be that accurate, because they're fueled by some underlying fear or emotion. So I feel that the third week is kind of going to cement. I feel that it's in this third week that you make these changes happen. I feel it's in and around, obviously, you know, all our timelines are different, but if this is how the energies are likely to play out, it could expand much further or be much shorter time frames. But the third unfolding, I feel, is this exiting. And I feel the reason why this is your overall energy is because it permeates through your whole reading. Everything is about getting clear on how to make these changes, or how to leave, or not even how to leave, but just understanding that what is now in front of you has ended, maybe a long time ago, or definitely needs work, definitely needs boundaries and things like that put up. And only you can tell honestly with yourself, Leo, which one you're in. But it does bring some turbulence. It does bring a bit of a nosedive, like a bit of a drop, and then you rise up again. And I feel like it's almost like her feet hit the wall, hit the bottom, and then she bounces back up. So I find that this underwater realm, it feels peaceful. It kind of is almost like a time of reevaluating and then coming back out. And I feel that this coming back out is when you've either come to terms with what you've exited, or when things start to settle after you've made great changes in relationships or jobs or whatever this is for you. It can just be your living environment or your family or any aspect really. Because you finish the month with the Magician. And there's this sense with this Magician that I get in your reading, Leo, is that you've made space so that the universe can bring you something new. And look at the yellows. This is positive. This is something that you want. This is it's almost like if we knew, and I'm going to say we, Leo, because it's not just targeted at you. It's not just you, Leos, not at all. It's as human beings, if we could see what was waiting for us, we would never be scared of leaving things. Never. Because there's always a gap to fill. When we exit something, we make room for something else to come in. And if something else doesn't come in, so I just felt, you know, it wasn't spirit that was saying it to me. I almost felt like it was you saying it to me. But there's almost this sense of, well, my relationship ended 2 years ago and I'm not in a relationship. Then in that sense, there's a block. Maybe you really don't want one. Or maybe you only want one that looks a certain way. I'll leave you with those thoughts, Leo. Now we've got health. And the card says, allow me, divine, to be tender and accepting of my body no matter what ailments I may have. May I always know it's doing the best that it can. Help me be a loving ally and friend to this sacred form. Isn't that beautiful? Help me be a loving ally and friend. You know, I can say for me, you know, my body comes last. And I laugh, but my body keeps going, and then I get surprised when it burns out. And it's kind of like, well, gosh, Christelle, should you be surprised? And I think this is what evolving, this is, I think most of us are going through this in some way, shape or form at the moment, is realizing that there is no aspect of ourselves that is better than another or more worthy than another. And how when one is being forgotten, it impacts the other two. So if you are just focused on your spirituality, just focused on your soul, well, your mind and body are going to start to play up, because they're, well, you can't function in life without them, basically, put it that way, you know. And same with your mind, you know, when your mind has full control and your body and your soul kind of like you push them away, they'll make themselves heard. And I feel the health card here with you, Leo, is predominantly is to make you see how there's an aspect of your life that is out of balance. There's an aspect of your life that needs to change. Now, my friends, I'm a Leo moon, and I can see where this applies in my life. I can see what I need to look at. I can see where I get just absolutely stubborn, and I can say this because I'm talking about myself, but I get quite ridiculous. And it's me. I love me. But it doesn't help. And there are things that I can put in place to change that. It's ways that I hold myself back. It's ways that I slow myself down, that I make myself tired. And to you, Leo, you know, Spirit's asking you to see, where do you do that to you? Where have you let yourself down recently in an aspect, or in your life in general, or just even in your self-care, that, you know, you need to boost, you need to exit that way of life, or whatever that is, to something that is more healthy, if you like, more aligned with you, and will have less impact on your health and your happiness. You've got the contentment card, and it says you can learn to rest in what you already have and already are. Suddenly you remember, I'm right here resting in God. Gosh, I just have to read that over and over again. Contentment. It's understanding that what is now is what we've made with the knowledge that we had. And it's all good. And when we accept where we are now, and when we can truly understand what got us here, or what keeps us here. Now, this can be things like perfectionism. You might want to do everything so perfectly, you do it 10 times over. When you know what? The third one was pretty much identical to your 10th one. You could have stopped there. It can be, you know, and that, thank you, Spirit, that perfectionism stems from not feeling worthy. You've got to always try to reach your 200%. It doesn't exist. 100% is your whole you. There's no 101. There's no 101 out of 100%. There isn't. And we as human beings have to stop for that. Because I think I'm sure I've said this before, but Spirit's asking me to stop, and this is for some of you to hear. But you know, today your maximum percent might be 80%. So you're not going to get 100 out of 80. It's impossible. The best you can do is 80 out of 80. Tomorrow, you might only be operating on 35%. So doing your very best is 35%. It's not 50% out of 35. It doesn't exist. If all you've got in you is 35%, doing your very best that day, that's 35%. And when we come from that place, and when we truly understand that and hold on to that as a value and a belief, we always will function at 100%, at maximum capacity, because we'll always strive to function at whatever percentage is our maximum percent that day. And that's how we can always say, I did my best. Today I'm sick, I've got 10% to give. If I give 10%, I've done my best. And how can we judge somebody on that? How can we judge ourselves on that when we understand that. We don't anymore, because we know that we or the other person has done the best, their best. And I feel that's what this contentment card is. I feel it's kind of twofold. It's saying, you know, your happiness, your contentment, your joy of life, like really, the Spirit's just said to me, your ability to be happy rides on this, Leo. And I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, I'm not going to get it and then I won't be happy. No, it's, you will get it. And this is what your month is. Your month is one of becoming clear of your values and your boundaries, on what needs to change, on what you can no longer put up with, for your health and for your happiness, for your contentment. And I feel, Aries, because the High Priestess is here, I feel that these changes, it's Spirit is guiding you. Spirit's going to help you. Like, you don't just have to walk into your office and go, right, that's it, I've had enough with, you know, there's this, I feel like this clarity. Look at this light. There's this clarity that's going to come through. You're going to understand how something is detrimental to you, and therefore how you can no longer go with it. I know it probably doesn't sound like it, Leo, but it's going to be a really good month, because the changes that you make this month, although they might not be pleasant while you're changing them, they change future things so much that you just, whatever thing you're exiting or checking out of, that's it. Once it's done, it's done. You don't have to do it again and again and again. But if you stay, that situation will keep coming at you and keep coming at you. You know, if it's work, the workload will be harder. Okay, Leo, my friends, I'm going to leave you with those messages, sending you so much love, light and blessings. Take good care of yourself. Have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.